Hey, what's up, American history students? Welcome to day 20. We have made it officially to day 20 of our e-learning experience. It is Tuesday, April 21st. Hey, we are only, 3 days away from our official reopen date. Not really, right? It hasn't officially been changed, but we're not coming back after April 24th. Sometime after April 24th, sometime in the distant future, but we're talking about history, the past, right? And we are wrapping up chapter 20. So let's take a look at our Blackbaud site and see what's on the agenda for today. Let's see. There we go. We go to our class bulletin boards where I always like to start. You see the bulletin board with all the information that you need, including another announcement. This Thursday, be there 11 a.m. for our next Zoom meeting. Hope to see all of you there. Put it on your calendar. And then at the top we got our topics and assignments. Let's go to topics. Go to 1950s. Again, we're wrapping up this topic today. We'll be having a new topic that we're starting tomorrow, so that's exciting. But if we go into the 1950s topic, a couple of things I wanted to show you. First of all, we have the reading for today, right at the very top under chapter 20, and it's one page, just one page. So the assignment might be a little more challenging, but the reading at least is nice and short. Some of you have done these skills for life. You know they're a little different. I also put up this link from yesterday, the political typology quiz, because I know at least one of you took it, and I want to encourage you guys to do this. If in answering the question of the day yesterday, a lot of people said, I don't really know. I don't know enough about this. I don't know where I fit on the political typology. And I encourage you to take this, right? Because it's really easy to do. It takes no time at all. Anyone can answer these questions, right? Let's see. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? I say the government should do more to help the needy. And I go to the next question. Which of the following statements comes closest? Government is always wasteful and inefficient. Government often does a better job than people give it credit for. That's a tough one, right? I'm kind of both, but I'm going to go with this one. Next. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? Best way to ensure peace is through military strength, or good diplomacy is the best way to ensure peace? I'm going to say I don't like war, so next. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? Racial discrimination is the main reason why many black people can't get ahead these days, or blacks who can't get ahead in this country are mostly responsible for their own condition. Ooh. Again, these are your own answers. You don't have to share this with anybody, right? I'll share you mine. I think is this one, right? I think institutional racism still is a thing. Just look at the victims of our current pandemic if you don't believe me. Which of the following statements comes closest to your view? Government regulation of business is necessary to protect the public interest. Government regulation of business usually does more harm than good. Ooh, I'm going to go with that one. So you see how easy this is. I'm already, a third of the way through this. So go ahead and work on that. And again, this is just for your information. You'll be a more informed citizen. And hopefully, again, in this election year that we have, with everything else going on, don't ignore the fact that, maybe you not directly, but people that you know and people that, you can influence, they will be voting in November on people who will be leading our country. And so don't let that pass without at least spending some time thinking about it. But again, if we go back to the topic page, let's download the reading just so we can take a look at it. We're looking at sources, primary and secondary sources of information, and assessing the validity. How do we know if the information being provided by this source is valid? We can believe it, right? And they're going to give us a couple of examples of sources and teach us how to do that, and you're going to answer some questions on that. Again, that's going to be under assignments. And again, with assignments, you see 4 assignments up there that are active. One assignment from last Monday is now past its due date. So if you haven't done that, it's going to be going in as a 0. So don't fall too far behind. Again, we're only 5 assignments in, so you can still get caught up. But today is the day where we begin, having missing assignments show up in your grades, and we don't want to see any zeros showing up in that grade book. So make sure if you haven't done, chapter 20, section 1, you get on that, because today's the due date for that. And then we got section 2, section 3, and today's skills for life assignment. So work on that. And then, of course, work on the question of the day. Let's take a look at the question of the day. It's a good one. It got me thinking yesterday about how after today, we won't be talking about Harry S. Truman, and that bums me out because he's my favorite president of all time. And so I wanted to give you a little playlist, a little Harry S. Truman playlist to wrap up our discussion of Harry S. Truman. He's my favorite president, like I said, and I think he has a lot of qualities that make a great president. He was an accidental president. Remember, he became president because the president died, and he was the vice president. It's a shame that sometimes the best people aren't the ones who are going to, be the most electable. And I think Harry S. Truman, if it hadn't been for, just the circumstances working out the way they did, probably never would have been president. And that would have been a shame for a lot of people. But fortunately for us, he did become president, and he had, in my opinion, a lot of the qualities that make a good president. But that's the question of the day. What do you think are some necessary qualities or attributes that make a good president? And has America had any great presidents, in your opinion? And if you'd like to see a great president in action, watch the videos of Harry S. Truman below. Let's just take a look at one of these videos because it's hilarious. This one's called The Lobster Store. Let's get some volume on here. It's a joke.
Well, the first political speech I ever heard was out of Grandview when a great congressman was running for re-election. And he told a story about a fellow who had, for the first time, been in New York. And he was having dinner at one of these great restaurants, and they brought him a bunch of celery, and he ate it. They brought him some consomme, and he drank that, and then they brought him a lobster on the plate. And he said, now listen, I ate your bouquet, I drank your dishwater, but damned if I'm going to eat that bug. And he wouldn't eat the lobster, and I don't blame him, I wouldn't either.
Great sense of humor. Get it? Get it? He thought he's not from here, so he thought all this fancy food was dishwater and plants and bugs. Harry S. Truman, great sense of humor, right? He was humble, he was great sense of humor, he was strong. He had all the qualities, I think, that make a great president. But the question of the day, again, is what do you think are some necessary qualities? I think you have to be obviously intelligent, experienced, good sense of humor. I think you have to be empathetic. You have to be able to relate to other people and understand how they feel. This assignment today includes a primary source and a secondary source. Primary means it's from the people who actually lived through the history. Secondary was written after the fact, someone analyzing it from more present times. And the primary source is from Harry Truman, and it's Harry Truman explaining why he vetoed a law that was passed by Congress. Harry Truman tried to veto a lot of laws passed by Congress. He did veto a lot of laws. Unfortunately, Congress overrode him on those vetoes, and they were able to pass some legislation that Harry Truman very much was against. And he could have just, said, well, it's going to get passed no matter what, so what's the point of vetoing it? Might as well sign it. But no, he made a point to say why he thought this was bad legislation. So read that primary source from Harry Truman in the assignment. It'll help you in answering the questions. And again, if you need any help answering the questions or getting to the assignments, accessing the assignments, please let me know. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.